Today we are going to talk about dividing multi-digit numbers, but in this case we are going to focus on the remainder piece. So we know that we cannot have remainders anymore. We need to do something with them. And in this case we're going to turn our remainders into decimals. So we are going to learn how to do that today. How do we take our remainders and continue to divide, making those decimals? So we're going to start by reading our problem, which is 3,254 divided by 4. 3,254 is what is being divided, so that goes inside of our house. I want to make my house a little bit longer than that number. I can always add that on later. 4 goes outside. Okay, so we start with our division, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. If I want off to the side, I could write the list of multiples for my 4, or I can use those later. Okay, so the first thing I need to ask is 3 divided by 4. So we start with that first digit, 3 divided by 4. 4 does not go into 3 evenly, so I go ahead and put that 0 up top. That was my division. Now I multiply. 4 times 0 is 0. Now I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. Step number 4, bring down. I have finished my bring down, so I go back up to my division step and I begin again. How many times does 4 go into 32? Well, 4 goes into 32 8 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Now I subtract. 32 minus 32 is 0. I bring down. I've got 5. Okay, so now I go back up to my division. How many times does 4 go into 5? Well, it goes in 1 time. 4 times 1 is 4. I subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down. How many times does 4 go into 14? 1, 2, 3. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract. 14 minus 12 leaves me with 2. Now, here is where in past years we would say that, okay, our quotient, our answer to our division problem is 813, remainder 2. But we are at that point where we cannot have those remainders. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a decimal here. At the end of any whole number, there is a decimal. There is a decimal there. There is a decimal there. There is a decimal there. Okay? Because I put my decimal here, I need to also put one straight up in the same location in the quotient. Now, here is where I know that after a decimal, even though I don't see them, there are zeros. So I place one of those zeros and I bring it down. So I'm still able, I just subtracted. Now what I bring down is that 0. Now I just go straight to the top again. Divide. How many times does 4 go into 20? Well, it goes in 5 times. Now I multiply. 4 times 5 equals 20. Subtract. 20 minus 20 is 0. Now I have a 0 here and a 0 here. So now I am done. I have nothing in the remainders. I'm after the decimal and have all zeros. I am done. My quotient is 813 and 5/10. Let's do one more like that. We've got 1,377 being divided by 12. Okay, so again, I divide, multiply, subtract, bring down 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96. Okay, 12 goes into 1 0 times. 12 times 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Bring down. 12 goes into 13 one time. 12 times 1 is 12. I subtract. 13 minus 12 leaves me with 1. Bring down my 7. 12 goes into 17 one time. 12 times 1 is 12. I subtract, and I'm left with 5. Bring down my 7. 12 goes into 57 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 12 times 4 is 48. Subtract 57 minus 48 leaves me with 9. Now, again, I've got the remainder here. So I drop my decimal. I bring a decimal here and I add on, I bring down my 0. All right, how many times does 12 go into 90? Well, it goes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 12 times 7 is 84. Subtract 6. All right, I still have a remainder here, so I need to keep dividing. I go ahead and place another 0. Bring it down. 12 goes into 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 minus 60 leaves me with 0. And now I have a 0 in my remainder, and I have zeros after the decimal only. I have no more numbers to divide up in my dividend. So that means my quotient is 114 and 75 hundredths.